Everybody know how to use a Robocoop?
Yes, sir.
You guys will learn? You guys will taught this? Yes. That's good, because a lot of times students will only learn in CF3, which is one time. Okay, so blade, bowl, top. Okay. Bowl goes in, blade goes in, and it clicks. Click. See, you hear that? Click. Click. See? Okay. Lid has 3 knobs. This big knobby is the most important knobby. Okay. Off center here. Click it in, and it goes. If one of those 3 parts don't align, it will not work, unfortunately. Okay? Okay, so let's make pasta dough. Flour goes in. It's a very hard dough to make. And a lot of times it's in the process of adding the liquid that students make it too thin. Salt goes in. Perhaps a little bit of sugar. And the French term for this is a pâte brisée. Okay, it's a dough that they use for tarts. Okay, very similar to a dough that they'll use when you make pies. Okay, from here we want to pulse it. All my dries are in here. Just pulse to mix it. It only takes a second. And then take your butter that must be cold and dice small. In here. Take your hand and take the flour and coat.
Oh, so that's what it means by turn or toss with flour.
Yes. And the idea is that this butter will not stick to the sides.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That makes perfect sense now.
And then we're going to pulse it. You're looking for small little pieces, and I'll show you in a minute. If you over process this, the butter starts to melt. You guys pay attention, yeah? Sure. Okay. Butter starts to melt and you make a dough. And that's not what you want. You want the butter cut in. It's called cut in. Okay, and this is the size. So if you take it here, you see, that's what we're shooting for. Okay. Here comes the critical part, it's the liquid. Liquid must be cold. So grab some ice and some water. Make yourself cold liquid. You want no ice in there, please.
So are you going to use exactly 3 ounces, or is it going to vary depending on what the...
I'm always going to pay... See, this is the thing with the recipes. You can't always rely on them. Because this is assuming that we have the same flour that the person who wrote the recipe has. Okay, the same amount of liquid. It varies so much, especially in flour, because a lot of times the flour will pick up different amounts of liquid depending on when the flour was milled. And so,
humidity in the air.
I'm sorry?
Humidity in the air.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, and you'll learn more about this in baking. So, basically I turn on and I pay attention. And I stop. This is the control that you have. You have the ability to stop mixing. Okay, so you should try to use this and pay attention. Right when the dough forms is when you want to stop mixing. Now be careful, the dough will start to form in the bottom before it forms on top. Okay, so at this stage, I hear it picking up a little bit. Let it run a little bit. I'm going to stop it, I'm going to look at the dough. Pay attention to the dough. The dough talks to you, you know this.
Hello there. We might need a little bit more liquid.
No, not at all.
Not at all?
I will leave it just like this.
Okay.
You could add a little bit more if you want, but you got to be very careful. Too much, then you're gonna have a hard time backing it out. If you add too much dough, or too much water, too much liquid, then it becomes overly liquidy, and you cannot just add flour to it. By the time you add more flour to it, your butter has been too hot. Okay.
Is this the same kind of dough that they use for like a beef Wellington?
No, beef Wellington is puff pastry.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I've always
Okay, so when it's done, it goes on your board. You put it together, mash it down into kind of like a disc, wrap it up, name on it in the cooler. Okay? Your butter must be diced small and it must be cold. Okay? Questions at all about anything? Okay, have fun.